What is up, Eastern Oregon? This is Dodzy, and today I am here with Cody Bowen. This is Keeping It Clear with Cody Bowen. It is brought to you by Oregon Trail Trader, east end of Adams, just past Rock and Sons on the right side when you're heading out of town. They have everything that you would possibly need for your hunting and fishing excursions in Eastern Oregon and abroad. One of the purposes of this show is it's live, and there's a reason why it's live, because we want your interaction. We want you to interact with us and to make sure that we Cody, you playing with buttons over there?
Yeah, my screen's froze, bro.
I see you just fine.
Okay, good.
Anyways, so one of the reasons why we do this live is so you guys can interact and ask questions. We'll just sit here and chat until we get a question. If you have a question and you want to remain anonymous, email me, kyle@eoalive.tv, and it'll be asked anonymously, and that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, put it right here in the comments, and we will address it as it comes up. Cody, how you been?
Good. Nice to be here again. Seems like it's been a little bit.
Yeah, what's new? What's new for Mr. Bowen?
Just figuring out the role. I'm getting more comfortable where I'm at. Getting out and about a little bit more. I spent a couple days working patrol out at the stock show, so that was nice to get out and see everybody and actually, have boots on the ground and do that job, if you will. Got a lot of good feedback. Had full-time deputies out this year. We didn't have the ability to get our reserve program up and running in time to get the reserve deputies trained enough to have them out there. So we staffed it with full-time deputies this year, and it went off without a hitch, no problems. Everybody had a good time. Man, I got to tell you, it was so nice to have some sense of normal going on, to have the rodeo, to have people there, socializing. It was good. It was real good.
Yeah, things are seeming to kind of creep back to normalcy, if that's what we're going to call it. I know there's still some limitations for people, especially around EOU, like the school, which is understandable. I mean, I think within a year we're going to be in a much better place.
Yeah, I agree for sure. Yeah, I think here in the next few months it's gonna get back to normal here real quick, real fast, and in a matter of time we'll forget this craziness, I hope.
So every show I start with a cop joke so far, so I may as well hit you with one right now. What happens when a police officer goes to bed?
I don't know.
They become an undercover cop.
That's a good one.
I can't tell you all the inappropriate ones, man. So, I got to find the corny ones,
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
I'm
only undercover for a while until my wife rolls over and takes them all away from me.
Hey, you know, it's better than sleeping on the couch.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So as for Union County Sheriff, like the new logo, we have some stuff. Hold up your little mug there.
Can you guys see that? Yeah.
It doesn't show great.
No, it's kind of hard to see, but we got some new swag in. I do have coming in this week. We have coffee mugs that have our badge, our patch on there, the new patch with the new elk and the new Mount Emily, and it says "Proud Supporter" on the bottom, and you can purchase those up at the office.
Boom. Look up there in the right-hand corner. There you go.
Yeah, there it is, right there. It's got that logo on that patch on there that we just revamped from our old patch. A little new, a little more up to date. And then we also have some K9 Molly shirts. And then we also have another shirt with that says "Proud Supporter" across the back with our badge on it. So we have those for sale up at the office. But reach out to us on Facebook, come up to the office, check them out. And I want to get those out to as many people as possible.
Kaylin said, "We loved having you at Stock Show helping out. Thank you for being present."
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it was nice to. That's about the only time that I ever see Caitlin is out at Stock Show, it seems like, or the family. So it was good to see everybody again. Glad we could be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So with the stuff that you guys are selling, what's that money go towards?
Money goes to the cadet program and the reserve program. For those of you that don't know, anybody that's in the cadet program or the reserve program, that's all people that volunteer. So they have their own side jobs, their 40-hour-a-week jobs, and then they come chip in whatever time they possibly have extra to be a reserve or be a cadet. And in order to do that, we, once they go through the training and the classes, we put them out there with full-time deputies. So they have to have the gear, they have to do that, and that stuff's expensive. So we try and help them out whenever we can. A lot of the burden falls on the reserve, but if we have the funds in place, then we can help them out as far as bulletproof vests, guns, all the gear that we carry.
Do you have a lot more time on your hands now that softball season's over? The high school
I helping out coaching this year, that took a lot of time. Every afternoon I was down at the ball field and then the games away and stuff. And now that's slowed down. Yeah, I do have some more time on my hands. Fortunately, it's definitely not over. My daughter's on a travel ball team, and we're headed to Portland here in the next coming weekend, and then Denver, Colorado, and then Chino Hills, California, and then Huntington Beach, California.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and that's, over the weekends, but still it's time, dedicated time to it. But she said, Dad, I want to play D1 ball and I want to be famous. So I'm going to do everything I can.
Absolutely.
To get her there.
No doubt.
Yeah.
What school is she looking at? D1 wise, like what is she?
She really wants to go someplace sunshiny and warm.
Arizona State.
Yeah, she was looking at that, but then that was almost too hot. San Diego, Texas, Florida State.
Florida State's good.
Yeah, she's shooting for the stars, and hopefully we can get her ended up there.
They just signed that James Madison pitcher to a professional deal.
Isn't that
girl
awesome?
That threw all those innings and was just phenomenal. That dude, so awesome.
Yeah, threw over like 1,000 pitches.
Yeah, in one tournament. That's a lot. Guys can't do that.
No,
throwing over the top is not a natural arm movement. So we are, there's got to be rest in between. Girls, man, they can pitch like 5 games in one. I remember my sister; she was a pitcher here for LeGrand, and I remember my mom telling me that she pitched like 4 games in one day. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they definitely, they're athletes for sure.
Yeah. So Union County Sheriff's wise, what do you guys have anything coming up? Is there anything like that you're involved in? Any events? Anything that people need to know about?
Stuff that we're just helping out within the community. We've got Stampede coming up. We'll be a part of that. As far as providing some security services out there. The parades. We got the Huckleberry Fest coming up in North Powder. That'll be a good time out there. We've got what else? Of course, the Union County Fair coming up. We'll be involved in that. We have September. I was contacted today. We're going to take part in the Autism Awareness Walk down at Riverside Pavilion. Get down there and just be there, be available. We are about to open up some positions in our jail. If anybody's looking for a corrections career, full-time or reserve, hit us up. We've got some positions open up back there for some full-time employees and some reserves too. So
would they be best? Would it be best for them to go to your website or to come in?
Yeah, whatever's easier for you. I really want to. My preference is if you come to the office, I want to meet you. Come up, ask for an application, ask to talk to the sheriff, and if I'm not have a phone to my ear, I will come out to the front office, bring you back to mine, and at least get to know you face to face, introduce myself, and I'm more of a face to face kind of guy. So I want to meet the people that are interested in it, and hopefully, give them some positive thoughts about the sheriff's office and applying for it. So.
Nice. So guys, this is an interactive show. There's quite a few people watching. Ask some questions. I have some questions for them, but I don't want to run my well dry at the very beginning of the show. I'm just the moderator here. But the people that supply the money for this show to happen is Oregon Trail Trader, and they're on the east end of Adams, and you should go check him out. Bommy, he's a good dude, man, and it's that old school like gun shop feel when you walk in there. You got all the old dudes in there drinking coffee. It reminds me of Dallas. It's very similar to the gun shop in Dallas. You walk in and everybody knows each other, and so if you need anything for hunting, fishing, gun related, go see Bommy out there at Oregon Trail Trader. So with your with Union County Sheriff's, I was talking with Justin Hernandez. We stay in contact. He's helping me out a little bit with my weight loss journey and with the physical training part of it.
Awesome.
So I think one of the things that we can tell people is what he does when he's not in the school in the summertime, because that's the first question I asked him the last time I talked to him. I'm like, dude, what do you do when school's out? So you want to kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So we work off of a grant through Oregon Parks and Recs, and they provide funding for a position, a full position. But regardless, what he does in the summertime and another deputy, they do ATV patrol throughout the county. They are out in the mountains, in the hills, on the county roads with the new county ordinance being passed. Just out and about on the ATVs, encouraging safety, letting folks know that we're there, encouraging responsible ATV use. Just it's a lot of education. Some folks don't know, when to wear a helmet, when not to wear a helmet, what permits to have, what not to have, where they can go, where they can't go. And then that's kind of why we're there. Number one, safety. Let folks know, as well as I do, that when people see the police around, they tend to act a little bit, they slow it down a little bit, a little more responsible, but yeah, a little bit. But it's just being out in the woods, in the forest, in the community, in that aspect, and providing a service to the citizens and letting them know that we're there. Makes everybody feel a little bit safer. It's a good program.
People either tend to slow down or they tend to speed up. When they tend to speed up, what they're doing. They're doing something they shouldn't be doing, right?
Absolutely. We just last year I wrote a grant and received funds for a new side-by-side. So we have a Polaris General 1000 that is fully enclosed, lights, everything on it. That it goes real fast. So people want to speed up.
Yeah, right. We'll catch
Justin. Give Justin some excitement.
Good afternoon, Dana. How you doing, buddy? So we got a question coming in from Ben Sweet and Low. Did you attend the funeral of the Umatilla County Sheriff that drowned in the Minam, Jason Post, right?
Correct.
And how did finding out he was a fellow sheriff change how things are handled?
I don't want to say it changed how things were handled, other than that there was a lot more of heartfelt, this is one of our brothers, this is a family member. So there was a lot more folks that wanted to help out, be involved as far as condolences and respect to him and his family and Umatilla County Sheriff's Office. I'm real big on relationships, and anything that I can do to show our support for another entity or another law enforcement agency, all hands on deck. When I found out about it as a graduation night, I was at a graduation barbecue of some family friends of ours, and just around the block from there. And I went down when they brought Deputy Post back to Loveland's, and we provided, along with LeGrand City PD and Oregon State Police, we provided an escort for Deputy Post and the Umatilla County deputies that were over here down through town, which you might have saw on social media, provided an escort for them. City broke off at Gangloff Park, and then we escorted them to the county line, and then OSP took them the rest of the way over to Pendleton. As whatever we can do to show respect for that other agency, just to offer our support. We did attend the funeral over there. Myself and 3 other deputies and sergeant from LeGrand PD attended the funeral over there at the Roundup grounds, and then amazing escort out of town up to the cemetery up above Mackay Dam. And that was, it's one of those powerful things. I mean, it's the service itself is, you're fighting back tears, just like, I don't want to say any other funeral service, but these are sentimental to us because it's a family member, if you will. So, yeah.
That's one of the things that Jay Hearn says, Justin Hernandez, is why he loves police work so much, is because of the family aspect. It's a lot like sports. Yeah. Like it's like a team. And once you become a part of that team, especially at the next level past high school, you're family. I mean, you're family forever. Like it's not just for a couple years. These guys are your guys forever.
For sure. Yeah. And not just the guys, but the family aspect too, we're one big family, we're fathers to everybody's kids and supportive roles to, each other's wives to the best of our ability, and try and fill that hole when one of us isn't around. So moments like this are heart-wrenching for every entity of it.
Condolences to Deputy Post and his family.
Yeah.
So let's reiterate that this is a live interactive show. So hit me with some questions. Hit Cody with some questions. Actually, I just moderate it. With Union County Sheriff, like how do you handle? So you got the guys out on ATVs, right? You got a couple guys doing an ATV patrol, but like how often are we checking like swimming holes? Perry. There's a lot of different ones. I'm not going to name them all.
Sure.
But how often is that in our rotation?
Daily. Yep. Those public entities like that, those places out and about in the community where there's Booth Lane where the kids go and jump off the bridge and whatnot. I mean, Perry Swimming Hole is an excellent one. Hillgard, all those places that
NK.
Yeah, NK West, yeah, it's a big one. Because as you know, I mean that's private property right there, and then the landowners are gracious enough to let folks go back in there and enjoy the time and whatnot. But just stuff like that, just trying to get out and about the campgrounds, Spring Creek, Bird Track, Mount Emily, all of those places that we can get to. We have a Forest Patrol deputy, reserve deputy or part-time deputy that patrols the forest also. So all in all, we have 3 deputies out in the hills that are hitting those spots, the high traffic areas, regular patrol deputies there when they're not going call to call, they're hitting those spots as well. So
excellent.
Yeah, it's fairly often. We want to be where the people are at.
Yeah. Is that more of a county thing, or do you share that responsibility with the city?
Anything out of the city limits is our responsibility, and in the city limits is still our responsibility. However, LeGrand handles the city limits and they handle it very well. We assist on anything that we can to help. Morgan Lake, Josh, that's a Morgan Lake itself is actually a city park, responsible by LGPD, responsible to LGPD. However, the road is a county road, so we share it. Just the other day, an officer was headed on his lunch break and he went up and checked on a big cloud of smoke that was our jurisdiction, but that's the partnership that we have. He was headed that way. He's like, I'll check it out. Turns out it was illegal burn stuff was handled. But if there's stuff at the park and they don't have a vehicle or they don't have a officer available, then we'll help them out. Just it goes both ways. But
yeah, definitely.
Sure.
I get a good sense of camaraderie and partnership and teamwork between Union County Sheriffs and LeGrand PD. There's no doubt there.
Yeah, and even with OSP and now our Forest Service units, we have a new Forest Service law enforcement officer who have. We've reached out to one another as far as establishing some type of communication relationship. And man, I tell you, our law enforcement agency for Union County, OSP, LeGrand, us, Forest Service is better than it's ever been. The people at the top are talking. The boots on the ground guys are as good as they've always been. But relationships are, man, they're at an all-time high right now. Yeah, and it goes to show.
Josh Ridley said Union County Search and Rescue too. Absolutely. Yeah. There's no doubt.
For sure.
The sheriff's department, I think people aren't asking questions because I'm asking too good of questions.
That could be.
Well, I kind of ask people questions every day.
Yeah. A professional needs to take a back seat.
Usually it's about sports.
Yeah.
Anyway, if Union County, like moving forward, throughout the summer, what are your like key things that you're keying on for the summer? Like as an organization, what are you telling your guys? Like, this is what we need to look out for. This is what's coming up this summer.
Oh, for sure. Well, with the weather changing, there's a lot of agricultural traffic out in the valley. Trying to have presence around that, notifying folks, hey, when you see the implements, you see the tractors, slow it down. Have a little respect for them. The guys are out there working, just trying to earn a paycheck and take care of their families. So I know it's frustrating to get behind a big tractor or whatnot and going 20 miles an hour, but that's one of those things that provides our livability here in Union County. So give them a little room. Deputies out and about. So kids are out of school. So we've got the recreation areas are getting frequented a little bit more. The weather's getting warmer, so people are heading out. They're staying out a little bit later. They're wanting their campfires. They're wanting their outdoor activities. So we pay attention to those areas that in the wintertime we can't get to. So paying attention to that. overall presence, just being seen, deters crime, as well as I do, better than anything else, just being around. So trying to, we have the capability that deputies can, do a lot of their paperwork in their vehicle now, new computer system where they can do their reports in their vehicle, so they can, go work traffic, work on their reports rather than being in the office. I still like the camaraderie in the office. I like the daily check-ins, so we're all on the same page, especially at shift change, that type of stuff. But for the most part, being out and about and providing that service, even when you're not doing, I don't want to say you're not doing anything, but sometimes just being around, being available is providing that service to folks. So
absolutely,
being
there's
out,
no
being
doubt.
seen.
If a Union County sheriff's pulled over on the side of the road working on their report, the people driving by see you know what I mean, and they know, hey, there's an officer in the area. They feel a little safer. Some people might be a little nervous about it, but from the way Union County Sheriff's Office handles themselves, there's no need to be nervous. I promise you that. No, these guys are a lot. Everybody on your staff is like normal human beings. That's the only way I can say it. Like, really.
That's a great thing. Yeah, because and I've really wanted to bring that to light. These are fathers, sons, husbands, wives, community members. They have the same love for this valley, this community that every other individual that chooses to live here does. And they have the same responsibilities. They have the same disappointments. They have the same, issues that we get angry about, that you get angry about, just stuff that goes on. I mean, yeah, we have a job to do. Yeah, we have a star on our chest and a gun on our hip. But, ultimately, if we can resolve a conflict or resolve a situation with education or just coming to some common ground, we're not out looking to take people to jail or write you a ticket, and that's not what we're about. Education and being a partner in the community is what we're about.
Absolutely, guys. This show's live and interactive, so if you want to ask questions, there's quite a bit of viewers. Ask some questions. Ridley, somebody ask Cody. Here we go. This is Kelly Emery, and she says, how's your contract negotiations going with the city of Elgin? Elgin crime rate is up, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'll be completely frank with you. We are working on that right now. It was proposed that they wanted to cut back to 2 deputies. We have 3 deputies out there right now. We provide 420 hours of service per month. And there was some talk about cutting that back to 2 deputies, of course, because funding, it is an expensive task, if you will. We had some long discussions, the pros and cons. I was very adamant on, and I use Portland as a prime example. You defund the police and your crime rate will go up. There's no way around that. You just can't provide the coverage. The less officers, less deputies we have out there, the more free time for the bad guys to know that we're not there and to do ill will, if you will. Ill will, if you will. That's a lot of wills.
That's a good one. I like it. Ill will, if you will.
We came to last council meeting. We discussed the contract again. I got a unanimous support from the council. They want to keep the 3 deputies that we have out there right now, and the contract is up to be renewed for the 3 deputies and signed next week. So it's going well. I really was hoping we could get an additional deputy out there. I wanted 4 deputies out there and provide a corporal position. So we had a North County supervisor, if you will, out there. But that just wasn't in the cards for their funding. Everybody's been hit pretty hard when it comes to funding this year. So I did offer them no increase. Usually we have a cost of living increase for those contracts. In order to work with them, we're working on a 1-year temporary contract to get back in the swing of things. I did offer them no increase on as far as their end of it goes, but with the understanding that we work this year to find the funding to keep that going, because we can't, a cost of living increase is not enough to even provide or pay for the services that are being rendered. But at the same time, I don't want to lose services. So whatever I can do on our end, I'm willing to work as much as possible with the city of Elgin, because it's Elgin, it does have its ebb and flow, its high point and low point when it comes to the crime. Recently, we had a couple bergs to some storage units out there. That crime does come and go, and I know that the deputies in all of our outlying towns they take that as their own town. They take a lot of pride in that, and those 3 deputies out there in Elgin, they are your deputies, and they are they are guys that are vested in that community. They have a lot of rapport. They spent the years out there. They know a lot of the people. They know the players of the game, and that a service that we provide. But they're definitely your deputies for sure. Yeah, I don't want to ramble on that, but contract negotiations are going well. Yeah,
good. Tanya says Daniel is doing an amazing job in Union.
That's awesome. I was just out there last night for a city council meeting, and when I was out there for stock show also, Deputy Johnson was, we put the weight of that on his shoulders as far as handling that and making sure people where they needed to be. And he worked some long hours. He got a drug DUI late into the evening into his shift, and then was, right back in there the next day, ready to go and up and at him. He's building great relationships in the community. He's figuring out where he needs to be, the problem areas, being available to the citizens of Union, and doing a great job. So I appreciate to hear that feedback, Tanya, and I agree. He is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, what you said about Elgin is I mean, that happens all over. When I lived on the west side, I lived in Dallas, and the outlying towns, PD, Kings Valley, little towns, they struggled with that because Fall City, everybody knew when the cops were going to be there. You know what I mean? They had and so all the criminal stuff was happening when they weren't there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. If we're not there, I mean, years ago when Elgin had their own police department, their own city police, they went through some struggles there. And then the biggest struggle was just finding people to fill that void. They went for a year looking for, officers and chief of police and just couldn't happen. They ended up contracting with us. Pilot Rock, just over the hill. They've had an opening for a year looking for anybody to apply. They have a chief and they have a city one officer, and they're just overwhelmed in Pilot Rock, and they can't find quality folks. And we see the same thing. And we're a little bit bigger organization, so fortunately we have more people looking at us. But the small departments, yeah, I mean, there was a time when the crime rate in Elgin was significantly higher, and the quality of living, I can tell you, I've seen firsthand, has increased over the year with the sheriff's office. Something that the former sheriff negotiated and worked out, and it's been a good program. And I want to do everything I can to keep it going and make it better. Yeah.
Virginia Jake Denning says, Deputy Whitty, give Kyle a little bit of love here. Did a great job keeping in touch with me about my stolen trailer. It's awesome.
Yeah, that was a unfortunate situation. And with any theft, it doesn't matter the situation. When somebody steals something from you, and it hits kind of personal. So, Deputy Whitty is one of those, honestly, just like every other deputy that I have.
I'm going to arm wrestle him. Yeah. I'm going to arm wrestle him one of these days.
All right. Yeah. He's a 10. He's a 10. So,
yeah, definitely. Let me give Oregon Trail Trader a little bit of love, and then we'll get to the next question.
All right.
Oregon Trail Trader, East End of Adams, they sponsor this show. It was a perfect fit. I mean, they are all about the outdoors, this community, and if you need hunting, fishing, anything to do with that type of stuff, go see Bommy. East End of Adams, just past Rock and Sons on the right-hand side. Benny Sweet and Low says, will the sheriff office add another canine? And also, does Canine Molly need any equipment to help protect her or help with any other items?
That's awesome. Yeah. Canine Molly, let me tell you, that dog and that deputy, Deputy Jensen, who is her handler, have been a blessing to this community, a blessing to this office. He had taken that on from proposal, from conception of it, to right now to where we're at with, just an amazing job. Do they need stuff? Yes, they absolutely always need stuff. In fact, any of the Canine Molly gear that you buy goes to help fund that program. We have miniature Canine Mollies for sale up at the office. We also have Canine Molly shirts that go to that program as well. So along with going to the reserve program, it helps fund Canine Molly. Nice. The Thin Blue Line stickers, the Canine Molly stickers, those all go to help fund that program. If anybody's interested in that, donating, that the dog is it's your prize athlete. The vet bills, the checkups, whatever that may be, the gear, to the equipment that she rides in, to the equipment that she wears, the collars, the training equipment that Deputy Jensen has built at his home in his backyard. Any additional funding we can get helps out with Molly and is greatly appreciated for for sure.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Dana says, how's the sheriff department working with local PD on the heroin fentanyl issue?
Yeah, well, we're working with them. We're trying to figure out how we can overcome what the state of Oregon has decided to do with Measure 110. It's really tied our hands, and it's given drug use, I don't want to say a free pass, but a very, it was already light on consequences, if you will, holding folks accountable. And I'm talking about the criminal behavior. I'm not talking about the addiction, but the criminal behavior that goes along with the drug use. It's tied our hands as far as what we can and what we cannot do. How we investigate a violation versus a crime. What used to be a crime is now a violation. Trying to get a judge to authorize a search warrant on a violation is not going to happen. So we are working on that. We're compiling data along with the overdoses in our community. LeGrand PD detective and one of our sergeants and OSP, they're all working together along with our dispatch services. They're compiling as much data as possible so we can have a case, if you will, to present for additional funding, whether that's through the state, whatever that may be, to get some additional resources here to help combat that, whether that's addiction services, whether that's criminal, whether that's consequences, however that looks like. But we're working on it, and we're working on it as a team.
Good. Yeah. Next question coming in from Mr. Ridley. Can you elaborate a little bit on the reserve program and your vision for it, and how will that help out our community? Good question.
Absolutely, great question. And not only our I say our reserves, but our volunteers as a whole. And Josh, you know as well as I do, our search and rescue unit is comprised of 100% volunteers. And without the volunteers, without the reserve program, you don't have the service that the community needs. You don't have the people that jump when the phone rings at 3 o'clock in the morning for a stranded motorist, a lost hunter, an ATV accident. My idea for the reserve program, I would like to see anywhere from 10 to 15 reserves, patrol reserves, if you will, corrections reserve, just people that we can, that are a part of this community. Just how I started when I worked at Les Schwab. I fell in love with this profession, being a volunteer, and joining onto that reserve program. You get to see what it's like to be a police officer. You go through training, you go through some of the training, a lot of the same training that we do as full-time officers. In fact, use of force, firearms, that's all identical across the board. You get that training. And as far as, down the road, where that goes, what that looks like, it just depends on, who shows up, who wants to contribute their time, because it takes some time to get up to the level that you need to be. Where I see it how it was, when I first started 10, 12, 13 years ago. We had a strong reserve program, and I want to get back to the way that was. I want people to be proud of that. I want you to see, Josh Ridley out there in a spray wagon, and then Saturday night at the carnival, I want you to see him in a sheriff's office uniform. So yeah, that's what it takes. So.
Awesome. Okay. Thomas Rogers says, I know funding's tight and speeding may not be high on the priority list. He's wondering about any future plans for patrols in Cove. Speeding is up on Antles, Hafer, and especially Jasper Highway 237.
Yeah, Thomas, in fact, that almost mimics the memo that I put on our whiteboard in our deputies room. I spoke to a resident out there, Dan Landa, about I had conversation with him, I believe it was via Facebook, about that exact issue. We are providing extra patrol. We have deputies out there that live out there that are going out that way a little bit earlier in their shift, a little bit later throughout the day, trying to provide that extra patrol. And of course, we are very big on officer discretion. So I'm not going to tell you that the deputies have a quota as far as tickets as far as what they meet, because that will never happen. They have discretion with every interaction they have. And if they feel that the education or just the contact alone resolves the situation, then that's what they're going to go with. If a ticket is earned, if ticket is earned, they're going to get it. But nonetheless, Antles, Hafer, all that stuff out there, that is a high priority for us. We are trying to do what we can to increase the presence to slow folks down. Also, working with other departments, Lieutenant Dan Connor with OSP, he's reached out, and he's providing some extra patrol out there himself. But he, a resident of that area out there in Cove, and wants to keep it a safe and inviting place. So we're working on it, Mr. Rogers. And please, if there are questions, concerns, if there are particular vehicles, call dispatch, get a license plate, identify the driver if you can, description, and let us know, and we'll address it.
Yeah, because a lot of times just contact alone will stop it. Like
Yeah.
if it's a kid out there speeding, like the cop shows up a couple hours later and says, we got a call that you were speeding. Boom. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, they're paying attention. People are calling me in. I better slow down.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The squeaky wheel gets greased, and if you want the attention, we'll give it to you. For sure.
Right.
If you want to draw attention to yourself, then we'll give you some attention. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question comes from Laura Morgan, and it's, are there any volunteer positions available in the Sheriff's Department right now?
Always, yes. Search and rescue is one of our big volunteer entities. That's always available. Corrections reserve, we're going to open that up. If not today, in the next day or two. Volunteer positions there. We are going through background investigations on the applicants for the reserve patrol side of things right now, and then we'll start an academy with them. And then in about 6 months or so, somewhere around there, once we get them comfortable where they're at, we will open up for more applications for the reserve. In fact, you can turn in an application at any time for the reserve program, but we won't start looking at those for down the road here.
What do you take those in groups of 3?
The reserves?
Yeah.
No, what do you mean groups of 3?
So you're talking about this group going through the process of becoming, because they got to obviously take some tests.
Yeah. So the testing process from the physical to the written test to passing through, to going through all that stuff to their background check. We'll take as many as we can get. It's really just an elimination process, if you will. If you make it through this round, you move on to the next round. And then, pretty soon you're in classes and you're learning. And we will take it. I think we had 8 or 9 folks apply for it here this last time, and it through the process of the testing and the background checks, we're down to just a handful of those guys, 2 or 3 or 4 maybe. So nice. Yeah. But I encourage everyone, don't be intimidated by the process. It's open book, whatever questions you have, whatever. Yeah, we want more people to get involved.
So like I said before, this is all brought to you by Oregon Trail Trader, East End of Adams. It's the local gun shop. They sell hunting, fishing, all kinds of outdoor gear. So go check out what Baum's got going on down there. It's pretty cool. This is a live interactive show, and we'll take your questions as long as people are interacting and we have people watching. We'll go for at least an hour. And so the next question will be from Mandy, and it's, is there enough deputies that you have patrol overnight? I was told out on May Lane there's no overnight patrol, but hopefully soon you would be. You're 100% correct. No, we do not cover 24 hours, 7 days a week. Neither does OSP. The only person that provides that with funding right now is the Grand Police Department. They provide around the clock coverage. We shut off in the morning, early morning, and then start again early morning. I don't want to broadcast the hours, but everybody knows, which can be fluctuated. Well, I'll tell you. So the deputies go home at 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes, if they're not working on a call or whatnot, and they're back on, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. There's a couple hours there where there's a window of we're not on patrol. That being said, we've just adjusted some of those schedules. So now we have deputies coming in at 3 and going home a little bit earlier. So it fluctuates. But that being said, no, 24-hour coverage is not funded. It's not possible with the funding that we have right now. But overnight, for the most part, it's covered. Nice. So Laura fixed that, and she said, I meant other than the reserve program, like for beautiful young ladies like me.
Absolutely. Yes. There is always something. If you want to, I'll use prime example, our search and rescue units. You don't have to be the young, strapping individual that's out there hiking the trails or running around with a backpack looking for folks. There is all kinds of roles within the sheriff's or within the search and rescue department that can be filled by a gamut of different folks with a gamut of different abilities, different specialties. So I would encourage you to look into our search and rescue unit. If not, check up at the office. There's volunteer positions. If people want to volunteer their time, I will find something for you to give back to the office to. You bet.
Yeah, like the community that I lived in when I was in college, they had like it was kind of like neighborhood watch, but it was actually like older people, out in uniform, just walking around, making sure nobody was messing with anything, and
Sure.
it's a presence. I mean, it was crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Lenora says hi to everybody.
Hello.
And Laura says thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So with the let's go back to Molly real fast.
Okay.
How long do those dogs' careers last generally?
So Molly is what we call a bite dog. Molly is she's trained right now in article searches, meaning if a bad guy takes off running and he possibly drops a gun, which has happened multiple times now, where Molly's been a huge asset. She does article searches where she can come check the whole area and find something, with human scent on it. In a pursuit, guy jumps out of the car, takes off running, and Molly, she's, throw the ball, please. I will chase you.
Those are my favorite videos online.
Yeah. There's nothing better than that scream. But
it's one of a kind scream too.
It is. Yeah. And so having Molly like that, that's her. And I don't know her specific. It's breed specific. She is a Dutch Shepherd. And you know what? Let's one of these nights, before I go too deep in that, let's get Deputy Jensen and get Canine Molly in here, and we'll have him answer those questions for sure.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But yeah, I know her time is limited as far as the dog goes, because it's a very demanding role. It's a very intensive role. And when she if age starts becoming a factor, then if she's not, I don't want to say pulling her weight, but if it becomes an issue, it becomes a safety issue. So
yeah. And then Lenora said that she's just really glad you're sheriff. Me too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, I'm just, I saw a chance to make a difference and to do some things a little bit different. And I scared to death, but jumped on it and wanted to do my part for our community. So thank you. I appreciate that.
So Greer said, keep up the good work. Wish we had you in Clackamas.
Kishba. That's
a name. That's a heck of a name right there.
Absolutely. That is one of my brothers from way back. One of my first jobs was working at a gas station where I learned customer service, and that fellow was right at my side all the time. So we had some fun.
You worked at a gas station here?
Yeah, in Pendleton.
Oh, when you were in Pendleton.
When I was 19. Yeah. I worked at Dave Chevron when it was up at the old nice. Where Circle K's at now. But yeah, Kishba and I worked there, and we had some good times.
So I guess I'll save my Canine Molly questions. Well, that was the question I was going to ask.
We can ask that. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Will Molly stay with her handler? Yes. I mean, the answer is yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's a relationship. That's a bond that you can't break. So, yeah.
So I guess I'll hit you with another Canine Molly question since we're on the topic.
All right.
Do they establish a relationship? So will it always be the same deputy with a dog?
So this is what was amazing to me. So yeah, for the most part, that deputy will stay with that dog.
But what about when a new dog comes in?
So when a new dog comes in, it depends on how it works. If someone is interested, you really have to have the motivation. You have to have the drive to want to do this. This is a around the clock position, if you will. Being the handler is not just having a puppy at home and then let's put on the suit and we'll go chase bad guys. It's around the clock, constant training. It's total dedication to the field. When Deputy Jensen first approached this, he put the feelers out to other departments. What works good? What do you guys like? What don't you like? What are the characteristics of the dog? And he said, this is what I'm looking for in a dog for Union County. And he put it out there to the Southern California area, to some different folks, and basically said, this is what I'm looking for. And they show up when he comes up to the training, and they have a gamut of different dogs. And you look at these dogs, and it's really, it's like you go to the pound and you lean up against the cage and this one bites at you, or this one wants to give you a kiss. You develop that relationship, which dog works with which handler, and they pair them up from there. So it's a relationship that I can't even begin to understand. I'm a dog owner, dog lover, but this is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's like crazy, huh? The attachment and just the amount of time that you would have to put in with that dog. Probably, I mean, I can't wait to ask him some questions.
Yeah.
Honestly,
so he'll be our first one. We'll get him in here together. Absolutely. Yeah.
Here you go. Awesome. Here's Ridley coming through with another question. Is the sheriff's department able to receive donations to help with the equipment and resources? If yes, is it tax deductible?
Yes, to a certain amount, Mr. Ridley. I would encourage you to speak to your accountant if you have one, because I can't give you tax advice, but we will take the donation.
Smart man.
Any amount.
He said, talk to your accountant. Good one.
Yeah,
so you guys are watching Keeping It Clear with Cody Bowen on EO Live TV, your connection to Eastern Oregon, brought to you by Oregon Trail Trader, east end of Adams, past Rock and Sons, past that other tire place on the right-hand side. Anything you need for outdoors, they got. I mean, they have. You walk in there, I get overwhelmed when I walk in there, actually. There's just so much stuff. Johnny and I made a commercial one time for them, and I had on like this old like antique war helmet and a gun, and yeah, it was pretty fun. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So awesome. We got another question coming from Benny Sweet and Low. Does K9 Molly get used by any other agencies or counties?
So yes and no. We assist other counties. Our handler, Deputy Jensen, is the only one that handles K9 Molly, but they'll call for assistance on high-risk warrants. We've been to Baker a few times. We've been, we do training down in the valley with other K9 units. I say we, but they, Molly and Deputy Jensen. But yeah, she is in sticking with the relationship building and whatnot. Anytime that another deputy can go help out one of our neighboring agencies, then I'm going to send them. It's just that goes both ways. Sheriff Ash over in Baker County, one of the most giving, helpful sheriffs that I'm familiar with, and I want to mimic his kindness, if you will, to help each other out. Yeah, nice. Yeah, she definitely has. She has multiple times.
Is that is the sheriff in Baker a new sheriff?
I don't believe so. He's been there. I can't tell you how long he's been there, but he's been there for a few years. Because
yeah. I know Van Arsdale took the job in Benton County. He's the Benton County sheriff, and he just a deputy in Baker.
Yeah, he was the undersheriff in Baker. So, number 2
undersheriff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do we have an undersheriff in Union County? We don't, do we?
We do, but it's labeled a lieutenant, if you will. My number 2 guy is Lieutenant Ken Woodward, who lives out in Cove, and he was appointed into that position when we had an undersheriff, that Captain Ward, who retired, and the former sheriff promoted Lieutenant Deputy Woodward to the lieutenant position, and put a lieutenant in charge of our jail. So I have 2 number 2s, if you will. Those guys are, my lifeline, my lifeblood. They help me out with everything. They make sure that the office runs smooth, and they make my job, I want to say easy, but they make my job fathomable and understandable, and help me out if any questions that I have. They have a lot of experience between one another, and the job they do is I couldn't do it without them. So.
Right. I can't imagine that it's real hard working for you. I mean, I know that you're a dude that has high expectations,
yes,
and you're a straight shooter. And for most people, that works. Yeah. As long as you're telling me exactly what I need to do, and as long as we're on the same page, that works for most people.
And, the thing that I've learned from this being in this position now, I've been there 6 months full time now, if you will, as sheriff, and the one thing that I realize is being the deputy on the other end and seeing it from that point of view is you need a leader that's there by your side, that's willing to do the work, that's willing to, just be around, be available, and be transparent with you, be honest, be upfront. I don't have any secrets. My door is open with these guys. I just simply letting them do their job, the job that they've been trained to do, the job that they have the experience in. The morale in the office right now is, I wish that I could put that on paper and show you what it was and show you what it is now, and where we've grown and where we've come as an agency. We're hitting on all cylinders right now, and the service that's provided to the community. I'm very big on customer service, and we have little kinks here and there, little hiccups, and questions are brought, concerns are brought to our attention, and we're addressing them. And I'm excited for Union County right now. Our law enforcement here, as much more funding as we could use, as much more money as we could use. What we have right now is bar none one of the best agencies in the state of Oregon, and I would put us up against anybody at any time. Our deputies for this area are amazing individuals. I'll give from top to bottom. Corrections, reserve, our civil deputies, animal enforcement, patrol deputies, our office folks our office staff up front, and I can't explain it enough or be ecstatic about it enough. We have a great office right now.
Nice. All right, guys, we're going to take questions for another 10, 15 minutes. So if you got something, get it out there. Lynette says, thank you for all you do. You all matter. Stay safe. With the deputies, like, you're saying, like, we're hitting on all cylinders right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that must mean that you wake up every morning and want to go to work. You know what I mean? Isn't that an awesome feeling?
Oh yeah. And then that started when I left Les Schwab, and before I left Les Schwab, and being in this role, the hours suck, the pay sucks, but getting up out of bed with a smile on my face, and it's priceless. I don't care about the pay, I don't care about the hours. The loving what you do is something that people should experience. If you don't love what you do, walk away. I encourage you, walk away. The money's not worth it. The benefits aren't worth it. If you're not happy where you're at, if you don't enjoy what you do, life's too short. Life is too short to spend it in a miserable work environment, to spend it with miserable people. Do what makes you happy, and spread that love around. Absolutely. But ultimately, when your days are done, be able to look back on your life and say, I loved what I did. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Let me talk about something, and then we'll address this next question. One of the things that I want everybody to know is this show is not scripted at all. Cody and I did not talk about anything before this, and we don't write anything down. This is all you guys driving it, or me just coming up with questions off the cuff. So, I mean, when you listen to his responses, that shows you a lot about this guy right here. He's got the, you know what I mean? He has it. And that's one of the things that should be looked for in a leader in our community. He has the information right here and is willing to present it. And I appreciate that about you. I wouldn't even want this show to be scripted. It would not be fun.
No. And that's something we spoke about in the beginning that I want to get away from. I want to be transparent. I don't want to hide anything. If you have a question, I'm going to answer it. If I can't, I'll find it and I'll get the answer to you. But yeah, I want it to be off the cuff. Absolutely. Everything that you're doing is exactly what we talked about in the beginning. And it is what it is. It's raw and it's real. And I'm on the spot. My wife
people
says,
need that.
Be careful what you say. Remember, you're live. And I'm like, absolutely. But at the same time, I don't have anything to hide. So if I say something that offends you, if I say something that makes you happy, you're getting Cody Bowen. So
yeah. And it's real. There's no question that, you know what I mean? And that's what the people want. And we're delivering. I mean, we are essentially delivering it. It's amazing.
For sure.
Virginia, Jake Denny asked, why doesn't the jail have a notary person on hand?
We just don't have anybody employed that's a notary. We have, I believe we have an office staff up front, one notary. But other than that, and that's just during office hours, the county has several around us. The court has some around us. But if one of the staff wants to become a notary for the state, then they're, by all means, they're welcome to do it. I know it would provide additional service. But
do you regularly need a notary in jail?
I don't know, unless it's for legal paperwork or whatnot. I don't know the need for one.
Yeah, I mean, it must be something for legal paperwork. If somebody's in there and they need something notarized, like, would they have to send it out to somebody, or could they just wait till Monday when there's a staff and have it sent up to your office?
Staff would assist with that. Any type of legal mailing like that needs to go out, it's a pretty streamlined process. So yeah.
Cool. Corey Ashbeck says, have you been able to work on the changes you wanted to make and keep it up?
Hey, Corey. Yes. Changes that I wanted to make right from the get-go was just being available, being around, being a leader by example, being a servant leader right there with the guys. Those changes have taken place. We have recently changed our patch, our logo that's on our arm. That was a big thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to bring that up to date. There it is. Yes. I wanted to bring that up to date and create, something new. The office, our deputies room, our conference room, if you will, where we all congregate, do our report, stuff like that. We revamped that. The deputies put in a lot of work on their own time, just coming in and, painting, tearing down walls, rewiring everything. Our IT department's been a huge help with relocating the computers. We have a comfortable, enjoyable work environment in there now. Yeah. Things that I want to work on in the future is, of course, looking for funding ideas, funding options, grant options. I don't like relying on grants, especially when it comes to personnel, because grants only go so long. But in the future, as we look forward to a new justice center, a new law enforcement center, which includes a new office for myself, a new office for the city PD, dispatch. I want to tie in stuff with with CHD, mental health, all that stuff. As we look forward into the future to that, that's one of my major goals, if you will. One of my major hopefully accomplishments over the years is a new justice center, and that's work in progress. We're looking at funding right now, looking at different grant ideas, trying to get the feeling out in the community to understand that it's so much more than just a new jail. It's not just a place for consequences, but it's a place to provide a higher level of service to our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Guys, we should be proud to have this guy as our sheriff. And I'm not saying that as a friend. I'm saying that from a non-biased view and just the interactions that I've had with him professionally and on this show. You don't see this anywhere else. There aren't sheriffs going on social media talking about issues once a month. And we're lucky to have this. There's no doubt about that.
I'm lucky to be able to do this. I appreciate the opportunity, and it falls into, my idea of being a sheriff, being a constitutional sheriff, and being available. And I can't represent the people if I'm not connected to the people and know what the people want. When I say the people, I say, the citizens of Union County, from from Medical Springs to Palmer Junction. I need to know what I need to be in tune. And the only way to do that is to be, take part in stuff like this and be available and have folks ask the questions. And, I'm a citizen of of our beautiful county. So, yeah.
Love it. One of the things you guys can do for me before you get out of here is hit the little like button. Bam. Just like it. And that'll show us that you want us to keep doing this show. I mean, there was a lot of people engaged. There was a lot of people watching. Shout out to Oregon Trail Trader. I would have loved to have kept the badge up there, but they pay for that spot. So I got to switch it in and out. But shout out to Oregon Trail Trader. If you need anything for hunting, outdoors, guns, go see Bommy out there, east end of Adams. They're doing a great job out there, and I appreciate them. We're working on a video for them for their shooting range. It's basically an instructional safety video, and we're putting that together right now. It's going to come out in a couple of weeks, I think. So shout out to Oregon Trail Trader. This is Keeping It Clear with Cody Bowen. Cody, I appreciate you, man. This is good for our community.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. And what are we at? 44 viewers right now. Anybody has any questions? I mean, nothing's off limits here. This is raw, uncut, like Dodzy said. Ask those questions. Don't. There's no uncomfortable questions. There's no hard questions. I mean, if I don't know the answer, I don't know the answer. I'm not going to blow smoke. But if you have questions, please ask. If you have comments, concerns, whatever that may be, man, fire away. Let us have it.
We'll be back in a month. Eastern Oregon. I appreciate you keeping it clear with Cody Bowen. Cody, I appreciate you, man.
Likewise.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure.